Gonna come back. Oh, the little girl doesn't finish her glasses of water, and she leaves full glasses of water all around the place. So when Joaquin Phoenix starts swinging away and hitting the alien, he bumps into water, and the water spills on him. He's like, "Oh, I'm allergic to water. This hurts." So now the girl's ridiculous wastefulness of water and the precognition of the wife telling the brother to swing away worked in tandem to kill the alien. It's the worst movie. I'm so glad I recorded that. That might be our preview for this week.
Good monster movie, bad monster movie.
So in this week's King Kong vs. Godzilla, let me tell you why Sign sucks.
Right.
It's a real hot take on a 20-year-old movie.
King Kong does a lot of swinging.
He does swing away.
And
he's got baseball bats for arms.
Godzilla swings his tail a lot.
That's
Are
true.
you saying that we could actually talk about the plot of this movie by using the plot of Signs?
Except no one told them to swing away. They just knew what to do.
I'm just going to go with hi and welcome to After the Hype, or Behind the Hype. I'm getting the name of the show wrong. Jesus Christ, we're off to a good start this month. Me, your host, is always Brian Dressel. With me, as always, Chewy Darso.
Hello.
And Jonathan Hardesty.
Monkey C.
So it's March.
Smarch.
It's March.
It's Smarch.
It's Godzilla in March.
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Are you trying to work on a good intro right here?
Godzilla marches.
He does march.
We just got through with Schmebruary.
Hey, mine was a Futurama reference, at least.
Godzilla marches through the fields of COVID.
And by Futurama, of course, I mean Simpsons.
Well, Godzilla is going on a King Kong hunt.
No, we don't need to bring Bear Hunt into this. Bear Hunt's too much of my life right now.
He's gonna catch a big one. Oh no, there's Tokyo. We can't go over it.
Oh my God.
We can't go under it. It looks like we gotta go through it.
I have so many things wrong with what just happened. So I've already said hi and welcome and all that stuff, so we're just going to keep going. So we are clearly out of Sion Sono month.
Oh, yeah, our spirits have lifted.
You can tell by all the laughter and joy and the fact that Chewy's back.
I'm still rather delirious. I am on my end of my 17th day of work.
Yahoo!
So tomorrow's my 18th, and then I finally get to sleep past 5.
Hooray!
On Saturday.
Nice.
It's a hell of a marathon.
Oh, yeah.
But we're happy you're back this week because we couldn't do a Godzilla episode without you. Like that,
especially not this one.
Well, especially not this one, and just not any of them. Like I've always loved Godzilla. John's always been aware of Godzilla, but the only one who's like been obsessed and that level of love has been you. So like you got to be here for it.
And this, I believe, was the first Godzilla movie I ever saw.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's why I have so many memories of it.
I mean, I just figured that's because you watched it all the time as a kid. I didn't know it's because you're first.
I assume it was my first. I don't know. There's a good chance it was.
Do you remember your first time seeing it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you're asking me to pull out memories of my childhood.
It's a fair point. I remember my first time seeing it because I remember renting it with my friend Tyler Anderson, and I don't feel bad throwing his entire name out there because it's so vague that there could be a billion Tyler Andersons out there. But I watched it with one of them, and he didn't like it at all. And I remember just being like, "This is awesome," and he's like, "It's boring and terrible." I'm like, yeah, okay, you're not wrong. It is a little boring, but I'm kind of okay with it. Like,
you need to be invested in the human spirit along with the monsters.
You do, and that's going to be the lesson of the month. Because if you're not invested in the human side of this, man, these movies are like an hour and 10 minutes of nothing and 20 minutes of awesome. So you really got to get into the human side.
Weirdly, I was ready for that.
That's good. Now, you hadn't seen this one before at all, right?
No, I've only seen the original and then the new ones. Well, the new one. The one that had the cool skydiving scene. So, first one and then the skydiving one from a few years back.
Well, we did Kong Skull Island for ATH. You should have seen that one at that point, right?
Oh, Kong, yes.
Yeah.
But, I was assuming the Godzilla. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Since Kong's in the episode today, I'm just kind of thinking about both of them. But yes, as far as Godzilla goes, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But then I guess, Kong would be the next one. Kong Skull Island. So, yeah. No, I've seen those, and then I went back to this.
So you're not well versed in the kaiju world.
No, my goodness, John.
It's gonna be an educational month for you.
You always talk about how you like the doom and gloom and tragedy. The tragedy is Japan, symbolized by the carnage of Godzilla.
That's not really apparent in this one.
No.
No.
I,
Shush.
oh, it's a good thing I don't have a drink with me. But yeah,
Especially because we watch the American version, the English version.
Yeah, and we watched the Criterion Collection. Like that's the only thing. Like that was the only version available to us.
I
And it's
feel like the Japanese version's hard to get a hold of. I've never seen it. I'm very curious to
Yeah.
watch it someday.
I actually
Yeah.
read up on it that they did a shit job in preserving it, and like people would just be cutting out parts of the film print and then getting rid of it, and then not preserving it.
so.
the
This really
Japanese-
is like the version to watch, apparently.
Yeah, that was the gist of what I read. Is that this one is kind of the one that has endured, and it's kind of the main one.
Well, that's I was gonna say that's unfortunate, but I actually really enjoy this movie. Like, even with its kind of like its bruises, where it gets a little boring at times and it's a little muddled story wise, but at the same
Well, I
time,
should-
you have a miniature fight versus a squid. So how bad could it be?
Yeah. And I should mention for context that I did actually message you guys the other night when I was watching this to see if I had actually gotten the right one.
Yeah.
because it started with a quote, and then I was like, this isn't very Godzilla-like. And then went to a newscast with some newscaster, and I was like, okay, I'm not following this. Like, where is the Godzilla? And then once we got into it, I kind of got into the rhythm, and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of into it and all that. But for a good minute there, I was confused.
Yeah, there is something kind of jarring about like, hold on, that guy's speaking English and he's in sync. Wait, this is an English scene. What's happening here?
Yeah, and there's a spaceship where the news is coming from.
It's a satellite.
It's a
Or
satellite. Yeah. Oh, the space stuff. This is tip of the iceberg. When we get to the movies I'm picking, whoo boy,
Yeah.
space is coming in strong.
Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting one to jump into as someone who, again, has only seen the first and some of what the new people have done, and kind of gotten that attempt, like those, because I feel like these are in the whole ballpark of their own, and yeah, how to start this off. This was a good one to start off with, just to set the pace and I don't know, get acclimated.
Yeah. Before we get too far into this thing, Chewy, can you do a quick breakdown since this is your movie after all?
Yeah. The breakdown.
Don't forget about the red juice, the very important red juice.
Well, they reference it at the very beginning, where it comes from a red berry
Yes.
that can have good chemotherapy properties. It can help fight cancer, if I remember correctly.
Sick berries, man.
Yeah. And so, with that, the pharmaceutical company that wants these berries also wants media attention, so they want their own monster. The guy sends Mr. Taco sends his two best guys. I'm not really sure what their jobs are. If they're media
was
people,
never made clear
or
to
if
me.
they're not
Yeah.
really.
Why are they here?
Well,
They're not really
one guy made the best
they're not
string ever.
doctors. No, that the guy who bought the string is the other guy's brother-in-law.
Oh,
Made
okay.
the string.
I love
so-
that scene so much. Sorry, go ahead.
So they go to Faro Island and meet up with the locals. Well, there's a bit of unfortunate makeup that we'll discuss. And they make the discovery that King Kong is there. And we cut between that and the realization that Godzilla is still alive inside of the iceberg that they froze him in the previous movie. Turns out, when you put a fire-breathing electro/nuclear creature in a iceberg, it's not going to really hold them for very long. So they were surprised, but everyone else was not.
And I haven't seen Godzilla raids again in a long time, so I don't remember how they put him in his ice bath, but I remember it being a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Now hold very still.
Don't move, Godzilla. Chill.
But, so Godzilla gets out, and he decides he has to go through it to Tokyo. Mm-hmm. Because he's going on a Tokyo hunt.
Oh my god. No more bear hunts.
Can't go under it.
Can't go over it. Gotta go through it. Hashtag Japan.
I was so unaware of this bear hunt thing. I never did it as a kid. I never knew anything about it, and now it's my whole life. I don't need any more bear hunts.
But so
It really does work for this movie.
you intermingle the storyline of these two guys at Faro Island, getting King Kong back to Japan and Godzilla going back to Japan. And eventually they're like, whoa, instinctively they fight each other. We need to help King Kong in his fight against Godzilla so that he can save us. And they do several interesting things. And they fight. And at the end of the movie, they just, both of them decide, we're going to tear apart this one building.
Yeah.
Then we're going to hug, and then we're going to fall into the ocean, and the movie ends.
Yeah. We're going to hug. We're going to tumble into the ocean. You're going to swim down. I'm going to swim away. And end of movie.
Yes.
You're going to swim under it, and then I'm going to swim over it.
And we're through with it.
It really does just kind of stop. Like, you don't even get to see King Kong really swing away. His back is to the camera. He's just fucking taking off.
Yeah.
Just, peace, I'm out of here.
He's over it. He finds a way to get over it.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah. You have the big social drama of the one guy's corns. His feet hurt a lot.
Oh,
especially
man.
when he's near monsters.
And his corns know monsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have the sister/wife who gets into Godzilla's path, and her husband has to save her.
Mm-hmm.
And the brother comes in later, and
And don't forget about the corns.
yeah. Well, that guy's not really involved at that point, is he?
No, but the corns come up quite often.
Yeah,
So I want to
I
make
know.
sure we don't
That's
talk.
one of the things
we
that-
got to talk about the corns
Yeah, we
because the
do.
corn he brings them up a lot.
Yeah. They were an important thing to me when I was a child.
We really got to load that gun.
I love this movie. Whether or not we make fun of this movie, I love this movie.
I guess I should clarify in the very beginning of this thing. I love all these movies, but I also love making fun of these movies. Like it's just kind of one of those things like where I enjoy it. Not like I'm not like trying to be mean to it at all. It's just they're fun to poke fun at. Like that's part of the joy. Like these things have such a charm to them that like sitting down and watching them with like my notebook out and trying to take notes is just not something I can do. Like that's part of my enjoyment is just like it feels like a party. Like this is the party where we got to watch a monkey and a lizard fight each other. And it's like, yeah, that was fun. I liked it.
Or a reptile or an amphibian, depending on what part of the story the white scientist guy's talking about.
Yeah, oh my. Please. Reptile. Not reptile. Reptile.
Reptile.
And his amphibian nature.
His amphibian nature. Well, you see, with this reptile, asshole.
What do you think about this, Doctor? Well, yeah, I'm a firm believer that like a movie should teach you how to watch it, and I think that's what helped me through this movie. Because coming at this with nothing, like no frame of reference other than cultural osmosis, at first what threw me is just like, okay, what is this experience? Is it supposed to be like cheesy, charming? Like I was trying to orient, and I think by having all those elements in place in the beginning, the weird American presence, the captain of the submarine just standing there like, Mayday, Mayday, with white gloves, the just Godzilla breaking through the ice, and all the elements, especially down to the island and the corn and the rope that is super strong. And as these things started piling up, I'm like, okay, this movie's like, this is the Godzilla experience. This is the pervasive one, the one that's nostalgic and fun to poke fun at and all that. And yeah, by the end, I like it clicked. So I think this movie really kind of taught me really what to expect, and I actually do appreciate that.
Yeah, it does a very good job at like a very good job of setting the tone for like everything we're gonna watch so far. I totally agree, because this is the third Godzilla movie. Like there was only Godzilla, Godzilla raids again, and then he fights King Kong. Like that's like they came out of the gate swinging.
Yeah, there was no hint to Godzilla being a good guy.
No, at this
gal.
point, at this point, still straight up bad guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't really become a good guy until, is it the next one? No, because he fights Mothra, so it's not until.
I think it's the one where the aliens come in. Honestly, I don't remember at this moment.
Well, I think it's Ghidorah. I think it's when he fights Ghidorah. Because
Yeah,
Ghidorah's
Ghidorah comes, the first time Ghidorah comes in, I believe, is from space.
Okay, so then that would be the one after Mothra. I have a list of them up. I'm not that knowledgeable. I should be totally honest.
But even like from osmosis, there was always the joke of like the miniatures and the person in the man suit, and I was like, okay, that's kind of what like I was geared towards that, and I forgot the stuff about it's going to be a while. There's going to be the human drama in there, and then all of it will culminate in I don't know. As soon as all that stuff started happening, he started stomping the tanks, lighting them on fire, and I saw the little tiny tanks and the miniatures going around. I was suddenly like leaning forward in my seat, like, okay, like this is awesome.
The tanks, the miniatures are awesome.
I love the miniature. I love that it's like da 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 da. Like they just show up to go fight him. He kills one of them, and they all just turn around. Da 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 da.
That I think that is where I was completely won over. Like that's where I got it because it's like one was down. It's like, oh yeah, forget this.
This isn't
Let's
going to
get
work.
him. Oh, we're ineffective. Go home.
Yeah.
Go back onto the mountain that he can crush.
See, for me, it's got to be the squid fight. Like as soon as King Kong fights the squid, and it's just like, no, we just bought a squid.
That's the first big fight.
It's awesome. It's so good. Like, and it's such a cool looking squid because it's just a fucking real squid.
Well, in the like him crawling around, see the part where they're actually fighting. Like,
Oh, then
on
it's
his
just
face.
almost
I
just
don't-
like a jelly bag sort
Yeah.
of thing. Just like, hey, you just hold it at your face and just wiggle around.
Yeah.
It almost looks like the Bela Lugosi scene, like Ed Wood, of like, what's going on?
I appreciate
Right.
the different film techniques in that fight, and like in the way where they have the squid lunge at King Kong's face. You can.
Yeah.
That's a reversed shot.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah,
That's almost not even noticeable. Like as a first time watcher of that,
It's
I
like,
was just like
whoa, that squid really lunged at his face.
The squid was gonna fuck him up, and
Yeah.
1,000 times faster than he's already been moving. That's
And I appreciate that fight in the way that it ends with just King Kong grunting at him, like, "Get out of here!
Yeah.
Go, get
take
out
that.
of here!"
I'm gonna drink my new energy drink here, and I'll be totally fine.
Oh, he's just getting drunk.
Yeah, he's just hammered.
So drunk enough where they're able to drag him across who knows how far and put him on a floaty
Which
with
looks
dynamite.
looks eerily similar to the Godzilla versus Kong trailer transfer thing. Watching this movie, having watched the Godzilla versus Kong trailer 1,000 times so far, I want to say. I think that's about how many times I've watched it. I'm like, oh wow, they've actually pulled quite a bit from this movie. I was very impressed. It might just be trailer moments that they're just like, it might not be really anything else, but it was kind of cool seeing like those sorts of things pop
Yeah,
up.
I've not watched the trailer nearly as often as you because I don't want to get. I mean, I'm excited to see the movie, but I don't want to spoil anything for myself or get my hopes up too much.
Oh, I've already spoiled and got my hopes in the stratosphere. There's no way this. I'm setting myself up for another Godzilla King of All Monsters. Like I know I'm doing it to myself, but
I got so annoyed by that one, so I'm purposely not getting too.
like I
wound up.
said, when I went back to King of All Monsters, I did enjoy it on the rewatch. I hated
It
my
took you
first.
3 days.
It did take me 3 days, but I did enjoy it over those 3 days.
Yeah,
So-
scene was good. That scene was good, but yeah, it was. I think up till the squid, it was still like I was still into the getting into it, and I think I was very surprised about the island part in general.
Yeah,
Kind of the awkward elephant in the room. I like when I
It's
joke about having a drink.
blackface.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
blackface.
yeah.
Just call
But-
it the cultural problems with Asian nations and Africa for whatever reason.
And it was
that still continues to today.
It still happens today, and apparently, I did some research into it because, like, while I was watching the scene, it's so hard to watch. It's just upsetting. But you're watching it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And apparently, it's a very big problem in kaiju movies. Like the Mothra series apparently has a ton of it, and it's just
Oh.
like you're watching this thing, and it's like, wow, I love this movie. I forgot how insane amount of blackface is in this. Like it really does sink the whole experience for a long time, and it's not until they get like fighting again where it's like, oh, this is why I love this movie. It's a very ugly moment in this movie.
I mean, luckily, as a wee child when I was watching this movie, I just thought they were dirty. I didn't realize what it was. I remember thinking as a child they looked weird, but I just took it as they were either too tan or needed to shower.
Yeah, as a kid, I didn't know it was makeup. As a kid, I was an idiot, but
Yeah.
luckily I got older and didn't become more
It's
of
not
an
even
idiot.
very good makeup because it's very inconsistent, specifically
Yeah.
on the really attractive lady. Like whenever she turns around or bends, you can tell that the makeup just kind of stops on her back.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not as much makeup as everyone else. It's just like that. I think that was probably the part where, like a dipping point, where it's like, oh, what am I watching? And then afterwards, we kind of got back on track. But yeah, it was a very everything about this movie has been surprising from beginning to end. I was like, yeah, that's kind of neat to be surprised, except for that part.
Yeah, that part's not a good surprise, and it's one of those things where like there's not a good thing you can say about it. There's no way to defend it, and I don't think you should. Like
No.
it's not
You
something
can
to
hope
defend.
that they don't continue it.
And I don't think, at least from my recollection of this, I don't think we're going to run into it again throughout this month, which is good, because then this month might have come to an abrupt end, because I'm not sure how much I want to talk about this. It's like, blech.
Yeah.
Gross. Let's talk a little bit about the, before we get into the brawl of it all, let's talk a little about the human story, because as we've said before, and it is kind of a learning thing in these movies, is that these movies take their time with the human story, each and every one of them. And that includes all the way up to the 2014 Godzilla, which a lot of people had a problem with. I remember talking to friends who were like, it was boring. There's no Godzilla in it. I'm like, no, that's because the guy who made it understood Godzilla films. He made a legit Godzilla film.
The thing is,
Right.
Godzilla is the trophy in a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Really. You have to spend a lot of time with people to get your Godzilla.
Yeah. And like, are all the human stories good?
They don't need to be good.
They don't need to be good. They're
Most of the time,
No.
they're really cheesy.
And this one is very cheesy, and I enjoy it. Like I made the joke earlier, the scene where he finds his brother-in-law's super strong string, the strongest string that's ever been, and the guy's just like swinging off his balcony, holding on to like basically nothing. I'm like, I love this. This is just funny.
Problem is, he just cut his fingers off.
Oh, absolutely, that's a dead man, but who cares? He didn't hear.
It's
Oh,
the
there it goes
strongest
in two
string
pieces.
ever, but it's still string, so that means it's really thin, and you're putting your full body weight on it, and it's metal, which means it's just gonna slice through you.
Yeah, you basically just went on the ledge with piano wire. So
Yeah.
have fun. Look at
Yeah,
how strong it is.
See,
Wow,
now
that
that
was
you're
strong.
mentioning that, now that you guys are mentioning that, I think that's where the big training you to watch this comes from. Because I do remember those complaints the times we've seen the newer Godzilla, where it was like, "Where's the Godzilla monster? You never see him. You see the people." And I was like, I would nod along, and be like, "Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've heard is about. This whole thing is about." But then you watch it, you sit down and watch this, and you're like, they spent a lot of time in this. Like the first time watcher, I was like, there is a part in the middle, I will admit, where I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel a strain on the fact that we're not quite getting to the big brawl. And obviously the big brawl is just the best part and great and amazing and fun to watch. But yeah, I was really kind of learning what this was about. And yeah, getting used to the human story in a kaiju movie is a very interesting endeavor as a newbie, I guess,
Yeah.
if you will.
The only one that I've seen the majority of Godzilla films. The only one that I can always go back to and go like, there's nothing in that movie I like, is always Raids Again. Godzilla Raids Again just puts me to sleep. The second I turn it on, I might as well just fall asleep. Like there's just nothing in that movie for me.
Send that my way, then. I need sleep.
You just gotta.
I can't.
It's not the best Godzilla movie, but it still has a. It's still. It was before they were leaning into the cheese.
Yeah, it's when they're trying to make like a legit horror sequel to the first one. It's like,
Yeah.
this was a bad idea, guys.
It was still a movie about atomic weapons and the scars that Japan was dealing with. And a lot of these movies still touch on that, but then they really start leaning into the cheese ball, which is how you end up with, Mechagodzilla and stuff.
I love Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. The symbolism starts to wane as you just go into monster madness.
Yeah. And I understand. I'm honestly here for both of them. I'm not here for Godzilla Raids Again. But that's for another time. Is there anything about the human story that bumped you guys that you didn't enjoy? Or was it just kind of like, no, it's just kind of a fun ride?
I think it was kind of a fun ride.
Fumiko is such a maiden in distress.
Yeah.
Like, she just goes everywhere where she just ends up flopping about going, oh, I can't run. I can't run properly.
It was very interesting to see the King Kong grabbing the lady. Who was it, the girlfriend or the sister?
Sister/wife, Fumiko.
Yeah, that was.
Or
grabbing her
I'm
and
pretty
climbing
sure
up the
they're
building.
Married. I guess I forgot if they're married or if they're boyfriend, girlfriend. Whatever.
I forgot too. But it was interesting to see that the King Kong climbing the building and just another twist on it from a different perspective. I thought that was really neat. I wasn't expecting it to go that way. Like I wasn't expecting them to reference it so explicitly, but I imagine you would have to when you bring King Kong into it. But still,
Yeah.
it was very
King
interesting
Kong
to see
likes
it.
his ladies.
Yeah, he does. And it's such a different King Kong than what we had before, because the other one was obviously claymation and stop motion and that sort of thing, and this one's a man in a suit, so it's just a very different feel. But it is kind of cool to see it.
Yeah.
Although we do have a little bit of claymation in here, or stop motion animation.
We do. Otherwise, how would Godzilla have ever dropped kicked King Kong?
Yeah, it's such a like a real quick insert shot that probably took somebody like a month to do, but it looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
But for the human story, for me, my favorite character is Mr. Taco. I love Mr. Taco. He's just completely ridiculous. He's just like
He wants his monster.
He wants his monster. He's just.
What more could a guy ask for? Or, like, is that too much to ask for?
Yes, it's too much to ask for.
No.
You don't get a monster, Mr. Taco.
But I want one.
But I think Mr. Taco does deserve a monster. Like, I mean, look at him.
He does dress well.
He's just such a dynamic character. Like, he's such a fun character.
Yeah.
He had the way the guy acts reminds me a bit of Martin Short.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I could see them hanging
Oh
out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. That'd be a lot of fun.
Well, and especially with the gag around the dynamite stick or the dynamite lever, just the three of them and him just kind of going it like playing the physicality of it. Yeah, definitely does remind me of that. And yeah, I mean that level of fun deserves a monster, I think.
I mean, from that description, I guess I can agree with you.
Martin
begrudgingly.
Short deserves a monster,
Well, yeah.
so I think Taco
Yes.
deserves a monster.
Yeah. Mr. Taco, please.
Mr.
We're not talking
Taco.
about the
I'm
league.
sorry.
We got to show him some respect. It's
Yes.
Mr. Taco.
It's Mr. Taco.
He is the head of a pharmaceutical corporation that
Alright.
wants a monster.
All right, let's talk about the big guys.
The big guys.
The big guys. The big guns.
Well, King Kong might be a little bit of an alcoholic,
Oh, he's a definite alcoholic.
but
Oh
that's
yes.
okay.
He's on the sauce, man.
Godzilla is on a mission.
What is that mission?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Tokyo.
Yeah, he's going
Just
back to Tokyo.
Tokyo.
They put me on an iceberg. I got out of the iceberg. I was like, fuck you, Tokyo.
Yeah. It's
I'm
like
gonna step on you.
it's Tokyo.
Fair
It's
enough.
the castle. His princess is there.
My God. You didn't watch Guilty of Romance, but
No.
since you didn't, you don't know what you just said. Don't say it's the castle.
No, don't
Please
say
don't say it's the castle.
Sorry.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking in like flashbacks.
All right.
No castle. No castle, please.
All right. It is. It's the Krispy Kreme in the last Power Rangers.
Oh, I'll
movie.
take Krispy
Okay,
Kreme.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
It's the fruit roll up of no, not even that.
No,
No.
not the fruit roll up. God, not the fruit roll up.
Sorry, just another.
Cian Sano just ruined us.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the sequel month.
But yeah, I mean, it's Godzilla. His purpose is still to be a symbolism of the lasting scars of nuclear war. So
And to drop kick
where
a
does he
funky
go?
monkey.
He goes to the heart of Japan because the heart of Japan is still in pain.
Yeah, that's fair. And like, they don't really spend a lot of time trying to figure out why these two would fight. There's a brief mention, like, there was a war before. Oh, they fought before.
They're
just,
two old titans.
two old titans, and they
And
can
you
only
just assume they wouldn't like each other.
Yeah.
It's like Highlander or something.
exactly. There can only be one, except there's many. And I'm kind of fine with that. It's not like I needed more of an explanation why these two things have to fight. It's like, oh, big monster. Fucking
Yeah.
love that movie. But the fight itself is it's just fun to watch. Like, it's kind of 3 parts. So that's
Yeah,
fair?
there's like first encounter where King Kong is like, oh nope, I'm not high enough level for this yet. I gotta
Yeah.
backtrack.
And he just walks away. Like, all right, let's fight. Ooh, you're a little tough.
And I'm like, I feel you, bro. I've stepped out of I've stepped into a higher level zone before.
King Kong is smart. King
Yeah.
Kong thinks. King Kong uses misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
He uses
Rocks.
stealth. He tries to hide and he tries to sneak up and he does all these things.
And he throws rocks.
Yes, he does that too.
Yeah, stealth rocks.
But in general, King Kong is a planner. And
Yeah.
he's not afraid to use humans to help him.
And Godzilla's the Joker.
No. Godzilla is like Frankenstein's monster.
Sure.
He's all emotion.
Godzilla's like, you have that one rule.
He's got his mission, and he doesn't want anything to get in his way, so he'll fight the thing, but he still has his mission. And his mission is destruction.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta say I do appreciate seeing how fierce Godzilla was, because you get this idea in your head if you haven't really seen any of them other than the ones that are the popular ones, and you're like, you don't know if it can live up to it or if you've imagined it to be too much, like if I've built it up too much in my head. And no, it was just right. It was it was kind of like everything you'd wanted and more. When he fights him, he drop kicks him. He tail thumps him in the head like over and over again. Beats on King Kong when he's down. He's vicious. He's fierce, and he's mean. And I was like, this is fun.
Yeah,
He's fun.
How he uses his tail to whip King Kong multiple times.
Oh, I love it when he's like got King Kong on the ground. He's just like, stay down, stay down, stay down.
One of the things that I just love the excited Godzilla, where he's clapping his arms in and out, and he's got that weird sound bite of the clicking of him doing that. For some reason, that's just,
he looks like an excited toddler, just like,
yay! Yeah, I got you. It's great.
And I love like the old Godzilla face. Like as we go throughout the month, he's definitely become more and more of a hero throughout the movies we're picking, and they definitely soften a lot of the angry features in his face. Like, especially if we do Son of Godzilla, he just looks like a big cuddle monster. Yeah. But going back to this one, like he's just got that permanent angry face. And when he's doing these like really excited things, like clapping and like jumping up and down, like, yeah, I'm beating up King Kong, it's just like, this is just ridiculous. It's the most angry celebration I've ever seen. Just, I'm happy.
Yeah.
This is the best thing ever.
But I do love, like, you can tell they actually put time, like, thinking into, like, all right, well, how would these two actually brawl? Well, I mean, Godzilla has legit powers, and King Kong is a big monkey. That's not going to work well. What if he has lightning powers? Will anyone have a problem with that?
His zap hands.
Probably not. Yeah, he's got
His
zap
zap hands.
hands.
You know what?
Zap,
that
zap.
was like icing on the cake for me, because I was like, okay, he doesn't have powers. What does he have? This is going to become one-sided really quick, because I'm putting my money on Godzilla here. Frankly, Godzilla, no, monkey with no powers. Yep, it's kind of easy. But then they give him lightning hands. I'm just like, oh my god, this is everything I've been asking for.
He got a power up, Super Saiyan.
Yeah. And I also just like just in case you didn't catch it when they said it earlier in the movie, like, oh, good, it's lightning. He gets stronger with lightning. He does? Yeah.
Yeah. All apes do, didn't you know?
That's why you never go in a rainforest during a lightning storm. The monkeys will fuck you up.
Or the gorillas. We're just putting all primates into one thing.
We really are.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes could have gone way different if they had just one lightning storm.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg would have been fine. I mean, dead.
Wait, I wasn't sure which one you were referencing. We have so many different Planet of the Apes.
Are there different Planet of the Apes movies? There isn't just the one made by Tim Burton starring Mark Wahlberg? Is that not everyone's?
Everyone forgets about that one.
That's the only one I'm referencing. It's my favorite one, of course.
No, it's not.
I don't
think
okay.
it's even Tim Burton's.
No.
You may need to sit down for a minute, Brian. I got some news for you. That's not the main one.
Well, I disagree.
Hashtag, I'm watching Stargate Universe, and they keep referencing Planet of the Apes.
It's a long hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag, I'm watching Stargate right now, and they keep referencing Planet of the Apes.
I just needed everyone to know that.
That's bad SEO, man.
I'm struggling with Stargate Universe.
Damn you, Stargate Universe.
You know who else was struggling at Stargate Universe? King Kong. As he was getting his face beat by Godzilla.
I'm
I'm hung
it's
up on
tangent.
that. No, it's just... It's hard to not fixate on the fights, and I can see why people would be somewhat, if they're not quite familiar with it, get kind of bummed at the human element first. But I think without all that stuff in the beginning, without the hour or so of it, I don't know, it feels like a treat after a nice dinner, and you have a great dessert after.
Exactly, it's the trophy.
Yeah.
It's you earned your brawl.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that we don't get out of popular movies right now, specifically superhero films.
Yeah, they're awful at it.
They're not good at making us earn our brawls.
No, it's like you even go to like horror films. Like horror films used to be great at it. They're scary in the beginning, and you get a long break, and they'll scare you again like in the middle towards the end. And now it's just like jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. Not all of them.
You need someone to be stabbed or die every 20 minutes.
Yeah,
or people are bored.
Yeah, it's like the MCU timeline is like every 15 minutes we gotta have a fight.
Yeah.
Gotta do something every 15 minutes, and it's like, no, we don't.
Yeah. WandaVision's proving that.
WandaVision is proving that. very well. God, by the time this comes out, WandaVision will be over.
It will be over.
We're here in the past, not knowing
Except
how
for
it
the
ended.
fact WandaVision's definitely ending on a cliffhanger.
It's not ending on a cliffhanger. WandaVision's ending with see Doctor Strange.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. No.
In
No,
my
it's not gonna be a
opinion,
finite ending.
I guess everyone will know whether or not I'm wrong by the time they hear this. WandaVision's just leading into
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now too. But either way, what have we missed in this thing? The brawl, the lightning hand, the Godzilla kicks a lot of ass. We talked about the red juice.
Well, we talked briefly about it, but the miniatures, like the tanks and stuff, but the buildings, it was always great to see in the shot a building nearby, because then you're like, that's going to be smushed. I think, what was it when King Kong was running up the hill somewhere? I think the volcano, was it?
Yeah.
And there was like some huts nearby, and his feet were like going up. I was like, that's gonna get crushed.
Yeah.
And I got this into this rhythm of, I see building, I want it crushed, kind of like rhythm of this movie, and it was a very fun rhythm to experience.
And they capitalize on your expectations with the end of the movie. Like, the whole movie's like building up to this one big showdown, and they're like, they've been fighting, they got the lightning hands, they got this, and they're like running up this hill, and then it's like, that's a big building. Oh no, what's going to happen to that big building? And then, of course, Godzilla and King Kong are like, we're going to fight each other, but let's put the building in between us, and we're going to fight each other through the building. And I really hope evacuations happen, because if not, everyone in that building's dead.
Right.
So they destroy a Tima castle before falling off a cliff together into the Pacific Ocean.
Oh my god, it's the castle.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. It is the.
It all ties together.
Wow. So, Cianzano just won't go away.
I don't know what you guys are referencing since I didn't see this movie.
Lucky you.
But yeah, like it was great. It was great to see tangible miniatures. And you forget in today's age of digital what a feel real miniatures bring to a movie. Even if you can tell the scale and tell they're fake, that doesn't even matter. Maybe for me it even works better knowing that, having that disconnect happen at first, because then I can shut it off and be like, no, I can actually get into this because this is really there. They're really hitting it. It's really like, it's exploding, but not how they predicted, but it still looks great. And just seeing the miniature work and seeing a lot of it, especially in that last act, was just really good, and I really enjoyed it, and it was really well done.
Yeah, and we've just been so indoctrinated with all this, like, normal special effects for nowadays, with all the CGI and everything. You really do forget how much, like, that tactile, like, actually physically being there does impact your opinion of the movie. Maybe not your opinion, but like your experience with the movie. Like, because it just
even on a subconscious level, just
yeah.
how you feel about it. Because the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the original one, the main three, the first ones, even like the forced perspective, miniatures of castles and all that, and just having all that, you feel it.
Yeah,
it feels real.
You know it's real. Whether or not it's real in the way that is being depicted, it is real.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to get up here saying I don't like CGI or anything like that, because I can love it. It can be great. But I think that's probably my number one takeaway from this month, is like how much I kind of miss this stuff and how fun it is. And how, like, I understand it's probably not coming back, because it's way more expensive nowadays to do it like that than, with
there's like kind of a wistfulness, a nostalgia that I wasn't expecting to get. Well, I mean, I should have expected to get that from this, because it's a month of nostalgia to begin with. But
yes.
As a newcomer, I wasn't expecting to feel it already without having the background of these movies.
Because Godzilla's great, and you're gonna love Godzilla because it's great.
It's great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should move into we're gonna stick with favorite moments this month instead of quotes again, especially if we're gonna be doing.
We actually didn't talk about the guy's corns at all.
What are we gonna say about the corns? He just says corns a lot.
I just want to
No,
throw in
what
there,
we need to do is
like I was telling
need
Brian last night. One of my biggest memories I have towards this movie is that I was young. Like I said, I don't know how old I was because my childhood is a big blur. But I didn't know what corns in your feet were when I first watched this movie. So while this guy is talking about his corns, I think he literally has ears of corn in his backpack. And I'm like, Why do they hurt? How do you know?
This
What
brings
is
a very
going on?
this brings a very different read into that
I
movie
was
if they're real corn.
so confused as a child. But then the squid fight started, and I didn't care anymore.
I mean, that's fair, but up until then, I get where you're coming from. That's very strange. Why do you have a bag of
My
corn?
corns!
Yeah. And now, like the movie, we need to never mention it ever again.
Yeah,
Because it never comes back up.
Yeah.
because the monster's just there the rest of the time. So
He should really be limping whenever he's around a monster.
he really should. God, I guess this movie's horrible now.
My 5 stars down to 1.
All right, so favorite moments. I'll go first because mine is. I've already kind of said that it's my favorite moment. It's got to be the squid fight. I love seeing the real squid. I love seeing the real squid amongst the miniatures, and they're just like, "Go, squid! Please destroy things. Just be you." And it's just like,
Oh, and that sound.
yeah,
That sound.
I'm so into it. I loved that whole scene. I thought it was great.
One of my favorite moments in the whole movie is when King Kong picks up a tree and just shoves the roots in Godzilla's mouth.
Brush your teeth.
Godzilla doesn't know what to do in that moment. He's like, oh.
This is the way they're like swaying back and forth while he's like, "Get in there."
It's
Yeah.
such a. Honestly, if in a real fight between monsters, that would be a pretty brutal moment.
Yeah.
Oh, and it plays off of like he's always using his mouth to like put things on fire, and I'm like, someone better shut him up. And King Kong's like, "I got you, friend," and does it. He jabs him in the face, and it's I laughed in delight. For
And
me,
then
we
you
mentioned it. Oh,
I was gonna say, and you just imagine that that's actually a guy inside that Godzilla dealing with that.
The actual guy is like, "Wait, what the fuck is Jim doing? Ow!"
we're gonna talk about this over beers later. For me, it's them punching each other at the castle. Because it's in between them, and they're slapping at it. I'm like, that poor building. And then I'm like flashing to all the superhero movies that destroyed buildings just as like, but so self-serious about it. And here we got 2 guys slap fighting each other across a castle, and it's just a delight, just to bring that all around. I laughed.
Well, and especially like we didn't really talk much about the costumes that they're wearing, although they are gorgeous and amazing. The King Kong costume, they try to elongate his arm, much just like a gorilla would have longer arms than legs, but it just means that it looks like the actor is just holding 2 bats that just can't really do anything.
Flippers.
Yeah,
Can't bend his fingers or anything.
yeah.
So it
He
just
hasn't gone to the Andy Serkis school of gorilla walking.
Yeah, so it just has this added like hilarity to it that just it really just warms my heart. So there's going to be a rule this month. I'm not one much for rules, I understand, but I feel like it's important. Double features cannot be other kaiju-based films.
Ooh.
It's the only rule. I'm going to go with now you have to hear me out for a second, and there's a very specific reason for it. I'm going with Logan's Run. And the main reason I'm doing that is because of the use of miniatures. Like, whenever I see miniatures, it just kind of warms my heart. I always think of the opening of Logan's Run. Now, granted, the rest of Logan's Run really doesn't have a lot of miniatures in it, so my reference is going to fall apart real fast. But the opening, like, credit sequence is just this beautiful sequence of shots of this supposed to be, like, very large indoor world, but it's all miniatures, and it's all very blatantly miniatures, because, water doesn't scale. So it just kind of looks like, it looks like a mock-up for, like, a amusement park that might get built someday. It's like, nope, this is the world they're supposed to live in, but it's so well shot, and I love the colors and I love everything about it. It just kind of like really just warms my heart and makes me want to watch everything that's coming with it, and have a similar reaction, kind of how John said, when the tanks come out, of like, oh, I just love these miniatures. Like, this is just what I want to watch. This is so for me right now. So I think you'll kind of get that same sort of vibe just based on that.
All right. I've found one, unless Chewie, you want to go next?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go with one because it made me feel a very similar way, and I'm going to go with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And because seeing all the things contextualized as a kid, like who had a backyard growing up, and toys in there, and playing with all those sorts of toys, seeing like giant Legos, seeing giant snacks on the ground, and a giant ant, and having a giant ant fight with another creature, and having all those elements with tactile, real puppetry and very tangible feel to it. I can kind of grasp that same, like I recognize some of those same feelings of nostalgia that I had watching this, and to me those would make a great double feature, just in terms of models and scale and things like that.
Let's go with Austin Powers.
Oh, nice.
Talk about nostalgia. I mean, Austin Powers is mostly nostalgia, and it's about two totally ridiculous guys going after each other. And there's a decent amount of miniatures in it, honestly.
That's
There
fair.
is.
There is.
Yeah.
So, watch Austin Powers before Godzilla, I think. Because you'll have a lot of energy at the end of that movie, bringing you into Godzilla.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So, this being the end of King Kong versus Godzilla, we got to list out the rest of the movies of this month, of what we will be watching. Mine, I keep going back and forth between a few of them, and I think I'm going to end with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I really want to do All Monsters Attack because I love him. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going All Monsters Attack. I've already changed my mind. I want All Monsters Attack.
I feel like you're going to change your mind again because you've been talking about Mechagodzilla a lot lately.
I know.
How about this? I'll make it easy for you. I was eyeballing Mechagodzilla myself.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So
Alright.
I'll do All Monsters Attack. John will do Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I just like all the different dudes in all the different suits. Like, they're just kind of like, you guys just had fun this day.
And I'm going to go with one of my personal favorites, Son of Godzilla.
Called it.
I told you I was going to pick it. Because it's the movie that is just so sweet. You know, it's about family. And it brings up the questions of, is Godzilla a he? Is Godzilla non-binary? How does Godzilla have a child?
Well, they answer that in...
In Jurassic Park?
No, in the Roland Emmerich
no.
Godzilla, when he has all the babies
Nope.
in Madison Square Garden.
Nope. That is not a movie that we
should've-
reference in relation to these movies.
We should have asked the doctor in this movie.
Okay, to be fair, that version of Godzilla is in Godzilla Final Wars as a different version of Godzilla that they dub Zilla, and Godzilla smacks the shit out of him.
Because they even say in the movie that is a stupid lizard.
That's perfect.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I love Final Wars, but that's not technically part of the batch of movies we're reviewing for this
No.
month. Or Final Wars definitely would have been my choice.
It's Power Rangers meets Godzilla.
It's awesome. All right, so there we have it. I think we'll go chronological. I think that'll make the most sense. So we'll start next week with Son of Godzilla, then we'll move into All Monsters Attack, and then Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I think it's time for a quick round of plugs. We can say goodbye.
I have no idea what to plug.
I don't think you have anything to plug right now.
But I'm going to plug my soon-to-be unemployment.
Get unemployed, everybody.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
if that's the best advice for these days.
No,
But,
I'm sure it sounds incredibly privileged to be looking forward to not having to go to work.
But you did just work 18 days straight, so I think people understand
Yeah.
at least a little bit.
Yeah. After 18 days, yeah. I think people will be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
I just want to sleep to 7. I mean, that just sounds sad.
Yeah.
That's still early for most people.
Yeah, when I tell people at work, I'm like, oh, I got to sleep in today. I slept till 7:15. They're like, why'd you wake up at 7:15? It's so early. I'm like, that's good for us. That's wonderful for us right now.
Right.
For me, I will plug, it should be out by now, at least I assume it is, At the Front Row, my interview with Philip Kennedy Johnson should be out there, where we talk all about the new Superman and some of his other history stuff. Really recommend listening to that. It was a ton of fun to talk to him. And then be sure to check out Binge Buddies, where we are finishing up Resident Evil right now, and then we're going to be moving on to our next thing after that. And be sure to check out Damage Boost. I don't really have anything specific to plug for Damage Boost other than Brock's been crushing it, so be sure to check that out.
Yeah, and he had a great episode recently with Chari5. I don't know if I'm saying that right, about accessibility in gaming. So worth checking out.
Yeah. John, what about you?
Demon Days, our next episode is out. It's been out. We're still on our bi-weekly schedule just because trying to schedule game time with a bunch of other filmmakers, that's a fun proposition. But we're making it work. And we just had a recent episode where we fight a giant plant that devours zombified flesh. So that sound from the squid, I was using that to mix. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
That sounds just lovely. I don't remember what I said in my intro. I think it was, ew.
Yeah, and then you're like, I'm going to have a salad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's not a sound I want to eat a salad to.
Are there
That's why I
better
wrote it that way.
sounds for eating salads?
Yes.
That reminds me of watching horror film countdowns, like top 10 goriest thing while eating lunch. That, yeah, it works sometimes.
That's sometimes being the key word there. I think that's everything we have for this week, right?
Yeah, it
Right?
is.
Okay, so be sure to tune in next week when we talk Son of Godzilla, and be ready for this sound. The movie is
I am excited.
fucking ridiculous. We don't want to talk about the human element.
Godzilla is a proud parent.
I love saying the phrase "proud papa." I know he might not be a man, but proud papa. It's just fun to
Godzilla.
say.
I'm just gonna go with Godzilla being non-binary / hermaphrodite or something.
mean-
Asexual.
I think asexual is probably the right way to go.
Nature found a way.
Well, you can still get the alliteration with proud parent, like papa.
It's not the same. There's just something about proud papa.
Just a couple extra P's, yeah.
He even gives his kid a pat on the back. They even give the kid a pat.
But I hope they
So
play
cute.
catch.
So cute.
They might as well. Just be ready for it. It's coming. Bye.
Bye.